Hello, hello. Kate B here from sunny Florida. We have severe thunderstorms, so I wanted to go and do my live stream walking on Saturday night. But instead, because we have lots of thunderstorms in end of May, beginning of June, this is the rainy season in Central Florida. I am doing my live stream. Lileen, hi, welcome to my live stream. I'm doing my live stream from my beautiful bathroom. If you're first time on my channel, welcome. I'm happy to introduce myself. I'm Kate B. I'm an immigrant from Eastern Europe. I've been living in the United States, Central Florida, Orlando area for the past 18 and a half years, almost 19 years. I came in on June 30th, 2006, so soon in summer it's going to be 19 years. I've been living in the United States. I have immigrated from Eastern Europe, Republic of Moldova. Lileen, yes, of course, I remember you. I think you changed your name again, right? Welcome to my live stream. So today I have a little cheat sheet because I was thinking about the topics I can talk about to my viewers, and if random viewers stop by, I want my live stream to be interesting. I want my live stream to be interactive. So if you have a question, please feel free to ask any questions. Please don't be shy. Tell me where you're from. Share whatever you have. YouTube channel for me is to express myself, to talk to my viewers. My girls are grown. My daughter is 16 since she received her driver's license and the school is over. She's been driving to her friend's house. She's been driving to graduation party. She's been driving with her friends to, you know, after school, end of the school party, and I don't see her as much, and it makes me a little bit sad. My little one, she's 11, she's going to be 12 in August. Her name is Stella. She's a gymnast. She made this channel very, you know, popular, and she's grown too. She doesn't want to hang out as much. She just wants to go shopping with me. We did a little project together today, and now my little one also hanging out with her dad. She loves soccer, so they went to a big soccer game for Orlando City soccer team. So here I am, lonely, and instead of, you know, watching my series, I want to go on YouTube. I want to go live, and I want to talk to my viewers. I wanted to express myself. I'm gonna let, you know, whatever I'm thinking about, what I'm going through, I'm gonna share it with my viewers, because I'm a mom. I'm a busy, you know, mom of two. I'm also full-time employed, and life is, you know, crazy and tough sometimes for everybody. Said hi, Lileen. Thank you. So I made a little cheat sheet about the topics I want to cover today. I'm not gonna be, hopefully not too philosophical for you. I'm gonna tell you a few fun stories. I just, you know, you always think what you want to talk to your viewers, and you always want to be engaged. The viewers have interest in your stories, so you don't want to be boring. And today I wanted to tell you that I've been improving my skills applying eyeshadow. I don't know if you can see through the camera, but I really see the smoky eyes today. What was my sister? Lileen? Lileen, what was my sister? You asked me to shout out to your sister once, so today I'm going to tell you I use this Maybelline eyeshadows. They're very inexpensive at Target, and they did a great job. You know, at first I was afraid of this darker shade, darker brown shade, but it's pretty warm. So we tried last few times, we were trying to apply eyeshadows, and I told you I've been watching a lot of tutorials, and I think I'm getting a grip on how to apply eyeshadows. What you think? Do you see my eyeshadows? Do you see this little dark brown in the corners? I think my eyes look like smoky eyes today, but I showed you, like, I went to Sephora and I bought this pink palette. It's matte eyeshadows for, you know, aging skin. They kind of don't encourage you to wear too much glossy, but you can do whatever you want. So, but while you're learning, like, the matte shades are really, you know, easy to use, and if you take the steps to apply eyeshadows, you'll become a pro. So what I don't want to touch this Maybelline because I thought this one is too dark. But I use this as my transition shade, and I use this as my white shade in the corners, like more like a highlighter and under the eyebrow. And I use this dark brown to be my dark shade, and that's what gave me smoky eyes. So give me likes. Tell me if you like my eyeshadows today. But I'm really getting the grip on it. And if you think your eyeshadows are a little too dark, just use a little, you know, different blush. So the blush I'm using today is Rare Beauty. And it's very natural color. It's like almost like the color that, you know, like doesn't pop up, and it doesn't have a sparkle, and it's a creamy one. So I like how it feels on my skin. And for my lipstick today, it's my lips sometimes are very dry, so this is my Gucci lipstick, and look at the color. I think the color looks on me. It's a little bit it's a different shade of rosy brown or something, but I really like it. So I hope you like my makeup today, because I'm experimenting with the eyeshadows. And today, if my eyebrows look too dark, because I'm playing around with my brow, like this is Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is my brow pencil. I don't use it often, but today I decided to use it to, you know, highlight my brows. Not highlight, but, you know, to make eyebrows a little darker. And because I bought this Anastasia Beverly Hills, I bought this eyebrow gel. I put a little bit of gel on the top. So I hope you like my makeup. Anyways, what was my sister? Keep writing. Thank you for engaging. And again, if you have questions about me, and if you're first time on my channel, welcome. I'm happy for any viewer from all over the world, because I'm an immigrant myself. United States of America is a melting pot of immigrants of different cultures, and that's what makes people unique. You know, the diversity, the different culture melted, what good and bad we take from each culture. And I'm proud to be an American citizen since 2018, and I feel more American than I ever felt, you know, Moldovan, because you know, we had a mixture of different bloods. My father's from Russia, my mom is from Moldova, she has Ukrainian roots, Belarusian roots. And with the mixture and with the country being divided, you know, we never, you know, felt Moldovan or Russian 100%. But now, when we came to the United States, I feel American 100%, but I still have my Eastern European roots, if it makes sense. I always refer to myself as Eastern European, because it's a lot of bloods. Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, like everything from Eastern Europe, what you can name, we probably have it in our blood, because people there cannot, you know, like they mixed up for centuries. And here in the States, I'm really proud, and I don't know, I like to be an American. So I call myself crazy American with Eastern European roots. So I also, before I start talking on my topics, I jotted down, I'm going to show you a few findings. If you're like me, you like to save money on the manicure, here you go. Like, how much is the gel manicure these days? The gel manicure is 25 or 30 plus whatever tips. So guess what? You see my beautiful manicure. It's very subtle, but this is like a cat eye color, so it's like very pretty, and it's very subtle. It's not too bright. So this manicure cost me $4 from Amazon, and for some reason, some of those color effects by Impress, and again, it's not a paid promotion. In my videos and my live streams, I just like to share my finds. I don't know if they want to pay me for promotions, if they want to send me products. I don't know how to do that, because, you know, I don't want to be committed to any brands. I don't want to be committed to get free products I don't like and I have to advertise them. So I don't like really to be involved in all this, you know, paid promotions. I don't make money on YouTube. I'm just on YouTube as a hobby, because I like to create, I like to share, and we're so unique, and everybody's content is so unique. So don't be shy. So that's why I'm not shy sharing the findings. $4 for Color FX by Impress. And this is, I think, what's brand is this? It's Color FX by Impress. So this is the no glue manicure. So they come with a little peel off stickers at the back of the nail. And look at these beautiful nails. They were too long for me, so I cut them down and I filed them to be a little, you know, like more round shape. Those come in the square oval shape, but I like to shape them a little more round. But look at this manicure. You wouldn't even tell this is a $4 fake nails. $4 manicure. Some colors are more expensive, like for this beautiful pearl color. Look how pretty is this pearl color. It's white. I paid $8, but look, you can't beat that price. And before that, for Easter, I bought a little pink manicure and it was $8 also. So if you don't want to spend too much on your nails in the nail salon, here you go, Amazon, $4 or $8 manicure. And you spend a little time. I spent about 30 minutes to apply them because I like to be neat, and I cut them a little bit and I file them. But look how pretty manicure looks. Look. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm so happy. And that's my color. This color makes me so happy. It's not too bright. It's quiet. It matches my skin tone. Oh my gosh, I feel beautiful. Anyways, so what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I don't know how much time we're gonna spend together, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I usually talk a lot, but please don't be shy. Tell me where you're from. I have 7 viewers and you make me so happy that you just stop by. So I have a little cheat sheet what I was planning to talk about. And the first thing I wanna talk about movies. You know, for the past weeks we've been so busy. Like last weekend we went to 2 charity events. It was my daughter's birthday weekend, so we stayed in a super nice hotel. I went to the spa. So last weekend, so it was busy, but it was nice. I was able to relax, to chill by the pool, to do my facial. My kids went to water slides, and on Sunday we went on water slides together. The weather is nice. The pools were super warm. We went on a lazy river, so it was a relaxing weekend. We wanted to go somewhere to the west coast of Florida this weekend too, but we didn't go anyways. For some reason we didn't go, and we just took it easy this weekend. And sometimes if you plan, and I was thinking my friend will be flying in, but she couldn't fly in this weekend, so we didn't go. And I said, it's okay, I'll do something in the house, just relaxing, going for a walk, doing maybe a project, cleaning my closet or something. So my husband took my kid to a soccer game today, and again my daughter had plans too, so she couldn't go on Saturday, and my other daughter had a birthday party on Saturday, so we couldn't go away, just because if we would go away we only could go on Sunday, and it's just a one day. On Monday we have Memorial Day, and I don't go to work, so we have a day off, so it's a long weekend, a 3-day weekend. Said hi. Matt Lombardo, welcome. Kate B here. I'm in Central Florida. It's after 7, it's probably 7:30. So I wanted to take it easy, and my easy time is to watch Netflix. And sometimes Netflix tells you what to watch based on what you watched previously. Because I really like White Lotus. If you haven't watched White Lotus, 3 seasons. White Lotus, the 2nd season was my favorite, and it's about those fancy resorts and rich people and stuff like that. I like this, I like fancy resorts, and I'm a part of this culture, being spoiled American and getting the best when I go to the resort. I don't want to stay in the Motel 6 anymore. We're old enough to pay for the nice hotel these days, and last weekend we stayed at JW Marriott. We had a nice big suite with a beautiful view, so I'm spoiled. So that's why I really love the White Lotus movie. So now, since I've watched some of those, Netflix offers me to watch Sirens. And I haven't heard about this movie before. Nobody mentioned it. Like, sometimes you watch vloggers, or you hear from, or you talk to your friends, or you talk to your coworkers, and people share what they're watching. So this new movie is called Sirens. It's 2025, and it only has one season. And I only started to watch it, but check this out. Sirens. Julianne Moore. I'm that age that I remember Julianne Moore from movies like mid-90s. So Julianne Moore is a great actress. I love her. So in this, I think she was in that movie English Patient, Английский пациент with Ralph Fiennes. I think Julianne Moore was there, so I really love that movie. But anyways, Julianne Moore plays in Sirens. And also the girl who played in White Lotus second season that happened in Sicily, that's an actress. Her name is Megan Fahey. And the new actress, Millie Alcock. I don't know Millie Alcock, but that's the girls who play in Sirens. And I only watched a couple of first episodes, but oh my gosh, if you haven't watched Sirens, I highly recommend to start watching it. It's a real good story, and it's a dark comedy, so there is a lot of things there. And I just finished watching the other series, which was called Succession, and Successors. Do you remember Succession? I think Succession. And that was like 4 seasons, and I really got to watch like how rich people think and how rich people behave. And now if you think we don't have slavery in the United States, we pretty much do, because in this movie Sirens, they show this billionaire's house and how people who serve the billionaires, how they've been treated, and they pretty much been treated like slaves. Even they get paid, but they've been treated like slaves. But because they sign an NDA, if you don't know what is NDA, it's the non-disclosure agreement. So you think the slavery is over in this country? Nope. The billionaires still have slaves. It's just called different because they pay their slaves, and people agree to this slavery type of relationship with the billionaires just because they get paid, and they want to be close to the rich people, have stable jobs and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, this first 2 episodes of Sirens, I'm just blown away. And that's my style of dark comedy, because like it is a little bit of comedy, but it's more like drama, and I like a lot of drama. I like watching drama movies. So Succession, again, it's a lot of billionaires and how they treat people, how they talk to people. And again, there is if they tell you that it's like United States, they don't have castes, like unnecessary, like people of like low, high class, it's all bullshit. We do have rich people, we do have low class people, we do have marginals, we do have classes, and it's just what's different in the United States, that's a big chunk of middle class that people can live decently if they're in the middle class. But rich people and poor people and slavery is still pretty much there. I believe. I kind of, after this movie, after the movies about the billionaires, I highly I'm highly convinced that slavery still exists. And any country you go, like any Western country you go, you probably might notice the same, that there are very rich people and very poor people, and very poor people have to serve for the rich people, and it's a different type of slavery, If people sign NDA, meaning like they cannot go and disclose any information about rich people because they're going to be sued, they're going to be put in jail, because people of power, people of money, they can, so it's pretty much a different way of slavery. It's very much exists these days. But anyways, we're not gonna be talking about like sad things. Okay, I'm still with me. I have 4 people. Matt Lombardo, tell me where you're from. Thank you for saying hi, and I hope you can hear me well. Lillian, if you're still here, can you hear me well? Please let me know. I'm wearing my mic. Okay, so movies. And besides movies, another movie. This one is not serious, but I highly recommend Oh my gosh, this is called Glass Onion. It's also on Netflix. It's a 2-hour movie, and one of the James Bond, one of like his name is Daniel Craig, the actor. I really like him. He's like like he's a little older now. He plays detective, but if you like if you like drama and detective, Glass Onion, oh my gosh, I highly recommend this movie. It's a thriller, it's a drama. You haven't watched it, it's from that series, I think, Knife Out or Knives Out, because there was the first movie that was called Knives Out, and this movie is a Glass Onion. It's like a sequel or something. So I love this movie. I love this movie. I love this movie. And if I love something, and I'm a person who, you know, who gets things very close to my heart. So if I like something, I'm gonna share with you. But I'm not gonna tell you what's the story about in Glass Onion. You should watch it. Again, movies. Okay. Next topic will be Karen Read case. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned to you that I'm watching the live trial of Karen Read, and this is a very interesting trial. She's been on trial for the second time because the first time the jury there was hung jury, and the prosecution didn't do a good job. So she's been tried for the murder of her husband and second-degree murder because something happened. She brought him to a party and she left him, like she dropped him off in her car. He was found dead at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the prosecution says that Karen hit him with the car because she was very drunk. But she's on trial for the murder. But the more you're watching this trial live, it's been almost 21 days or something. It's like 5 weeks already, more than a month. And at first like 2 or 3 weeks, I watched every day, but then it became like too much for me. So I'm just watching other vloggers giving, you know, comments, and I'm watching this lady who is an attorney and lawyer herself. So she's been, you know, watching this case closely, every day hearing, everyday trial, and she's been summing up and explaining what's going on. So now, like at first, when I heard about this story, I haven't watched first trial, but when I started to watch second trial, you know, you form opinions, you kind of think, yeah, maybe she was super drunk. She's in her 40s, she's dating this, you know, like successful cop, and she's hanging out with his friends, and they've been drinking, everybody been drinking, but something doesn't add up. So now I don't know what happened because, you know, obviously the police didn't do the correct work, and those witnesses, they lost their credibility on the cross-examination by Karen Read's attorneys. So it's such an interesting case. If you haven't heard about Karen Read's case, I highly recommend you watch, you educate yourself, you get some knowledge about Karen Read's case, and maybe we get to talk about Karen Read's case like in a separate live stream, because it's something I'm so curious. They can't really tell what happened to him, and it happens that the evidence was planted sometime, or like, you know, like, and the witnesses are not trustworthy because they lie, and it looks like she could be framed because she was, you know, she was texting with the other guy at the party, and they don't know what happened to John, and you know, like the expert says that he wasn't hit by a car after all, so those injuries could be from a fight or whatever. He could have been killed not by a car. But this trial, oh my gosh, I even had a dream about this trial. And then, you know, what's interesting that you get to see the real, what's happening in the court, and how the prosecution versus, you know, the other side versus the lawyers, the team who, you know, who tries to prove that Karen Read has not killed her boyfriend. It's like very interesting how knowledgeable are these people, and how people who witness during the trial, how they behave. So you can learn a lot of psychology. You can learn a lot how people lie, how uncomfortable people are, how they get, how people get, you know, how they get lost in the lies, and even the police officers who were supposed to do a better investigation, they didn't do a good job, and people who were looking at the, you know, phones, they didn't do a good job. So it's at this point, I don't like Karen Read, you know, like she's not a good woman. Like from what we've heard about her, and like how she went to the shows after the first trial, and how she positioned herself as a victim. She didn't know what happened, and she was screaming, did I hit him? Did I hit him? Could I have hit him with a car? So she wasn't a good persona, but it doesn't make her a criminal. You know what I mean? So I don't like her. With all my guts, I don't like that woman. She is not nice, and they're showing how she was flirting with this, you know, guy who was at that party. And it looks like obviously she cheated on her boyfriend, and she talked trash about his kids, even they were adopted. It wasn't his biological kids, it's his sister's kids. But what she was saying about kids, like she didn't like kids and she didn't want kids, and what she was saying to the guy to have like sex with him behind her boyfriend's back, because she positioned herself a free unmarried woman with no, like, you know, obligations. But I think she's a nasty person, but it doesn't make her a killer, you know. And that's what a controversy about this case. That's why I like to be involved and watch and follow this case so closely. So I'll be sharing with you details maybe in a separate live stream. So it's second topic, Karen Read's case. Third topic will be weight loss. Oh my gosh, guys, if you've been watching my channel since whatever, last year, whatever, last May, I started my journey with the weight loss. If you haven't been on my channel, I've been a little bit heavier from what you see now, and my weight wasn't healthy. I had a BMI of 27. I'm not gonna go into like very much details, but I was able on semaglutide medication, I was able to lose 20 pounds, and I was very, very happy about the weight loss. It happened last year. I started on medication in May, and I stopped taking it like mid-September. So within 4 months, I was able to lose 20 pounds. I was so happy. I've been doing my own research. I've been exercising. I felt great. I didn't eat a lot of food, and you know, it was a great medication. It helped me a lot. So I hope my blood work has improved, my energy levels have improved, everything. But as soon as I stopped taking that medication, this weight started to come back. And again, I still tried to eat healthier, I still exercise, I still go to my Zumba, I still walk a lot, but slowly the weight started to come back, and it started to kill me. You know, it's like I felt like I've been cheated. My insurance didn't cover that medication. That medication was super expensive. It was $650 a month, and I've been taking it for like good 4 months. So I paid a lot of money, and to see these results going back, you know, like to nothing, I started to panic, and I started to be, you know, upset, and you know, with myself, with the situation. And hey, Mrs., you're pretty, Lexi. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you for your kind compliment. So I went to my doctor, and we talked, and blah, blah, blah. I gained back, out of 20 pounds I gained back about 6 pounds. And you think it's not a lot, but if the weight is coming back and you can control your, you know, like your, I don't necessarily have an eating disorder, but I have very, very bad, I have very, very bad relationship with the sugary foods. And привет, Katya, Agrafena, welcome. I like your hair. Thank you so much, Lexi. It's highlights my natural hair. See my roots, my dark blonde, but I do highlights for the past maybe 16 or 17 years, and that's my hairstyle since like 10 years ago. I am still the same. Выглядишь супер. Спасибо, Аграфена. Как ваш семаглютид? Короче, я опять на уколах. I had to go back. So, oh, Lexi, thank you. And I'm 48. Lexi, if you're first time on my channel, I'm Kate. I'm 48. I'm going through a lot of life changes, like in terms of my body, in terms of like going to the next stage of, you know, womanhood. It is pretty. Thank you. Графена, я набрала. Oh my gosh, я тоже набрала. So I talked to my doctor, and he said all the conferences he goes, they discuss about people who struggle with the weight, who drop the weight, and when they stop the medication, they gain. Это на Оземпик или семаглютид? Семаглютид, Вегови. Вот я рассказываю. So he said, it's not common if you stop, like your bad habits come back, and I have very bad relationships with sugars, you know, so I started to gain weight. And on top of that, I'm in perimenopause, and I have a lot of changes in my body, like hormonal changes that, you know, they prompt you to gain weight, to store fats. And it's just the you know, how much is Wegovy? $500, $500 подешевел, 650 был, сейчас я уже за 500 взяла. Сейчас уже везде 500 в аптеке без этого, без рецепта. О, по рецепту. На Hers, можно пойти на Hers, там тоже $500. I like your shirt. Where did you get it? This is Lily Pulitzer. So let's see, I have pearls, and this is like sailboats. Lily Pulitzer is a southern brand. It's very famous here in Florida and like southern states. Lily Pulitzer. Without insurance, да, $500, без страховки. Удивительно, да, но все равно дорого. So I talked to my doctor, and I just got my labs done. We haven't seen the results to see if there is a lot of improvement since last year with my cholesterol levels, with my ApoB protein that shows the high risk of cardiovascular diseases. So he told me that, блин, жалко денег, очень жалко, это кошмар, я просто плачу. So my doctor suggests I'm starting the semaglutide again, Wegovy shots again. He said that if they don't do any harm, if I was able to lose weight on a very low dose, like I started with 0.25, but you can imagine I took it 4 months. First month I do 0.25, and second, third, and fourth months I only did 0.5. So for me the results were great because I was reaching my healthier weight. So from BMI 27, I was able to go to BMI of 23, and that's pretty much healthy BMI. And I kind of stopped because I thought I reached my goals. My weight went down 20 pounds from 149 to 128, about 21 pounds. On a good day, it was like even less than 128. I was even down to 125 at one point, and then it went back. It went like, so I thought as long as I keep it under 130, I'll be very happy. Нет, 100 юнитов никогда не брала. 100 юнитов, наверное, ты имеешь в виду 1 миллиграмм, там другая немножко дозировка. Самая большая дозировка, которую я брала, 0.5. Вот, semaglutide injections. So, какие тут есть дозировки. Вот тут вот показано, like the dosage. Wegovy. And again, it's not a paid promotion, it's something I use. 0,25-0,5. Я нормально восприняла за 3 месяца. Да-да-да. So for 3 months, I took 0.5, and I was able to lose about 14% of my total weight. And I got down to the healthy weight and BMI of 23. So I wanted to stop. I wanted to do like this healthy habits without the medication. But that's the trick. As soon as you stop it and it wins out of your system. So the highest I went is only stage 2. So the highest I went, I got very good results on this stage. But people go as high as 2.4. See, people go on a dosage of Wegovy. So you go this month and this month. So you can go as long as a year, and your doctor will tell you which dose give you better results. Да, 100 делений начала блювать, чуть коньки не откинула. Да, это жесть. Вот люди говорят, что чем выше доза, тем хуже твой организм может воспринимать. Даже на 0,5 у меня сильные побочные эффекты. У меня запор, извините за подробности, как бы тяжеловато, чтобы это все выходило из тебя. Вот, но я никогда меня не тошнило, никогда я не блевала. So this is Wegovy, and it went down in price a little bit because not all of the insurances, they don't want to cover it for you, even if you show that you do need to take it to regulate your blood sugar levels, to lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. My insurance denies, she doesn't want to, my insurance is not paying for that, so I have to pay out of pocket. So here's the dilemma. When I lost weight, I thought, okay, now I can stick with my healthy habits. And not many people will tell you the truth. They say, oh, it's such a good medication, you can stay on it for years. No, you don't want to stay on it for years because there are no studies in the long term. Who knows, maybe 20 years down the road, they would say you have pancreatic whatever problems, and maybe that's because of the medication. So it's not long enough on the market to have the long-term usage effect. So I wanted to be conservative. As long as I lost weight, I said, okay, I'll stop and I'll see how it goes. I went nuts. You know, after I stopped it, it went completely out of my system. By January, I started to eat like crazy. January, February, March, I don't know what is my hormones, it's stress or something, but I started to gain that weight back. So if I was 130, I said, oh, I want to be under 130. It's my safe weight. But as soon as I started to be 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, at one point when I was 135, I say, I got back 6-7 pounds and my weight goes down to 132, but never below 130. So I started to panic, and I talked to my doctor, and he said, when you go to a conference, they say, if you did a good results on a lower dose of semaglutide, don't stop. Just use this low dose as a maintained dose, even if you reach the point of your healthy weight. But people like overdo it. Like I'm watching one vlogger from Germany. She's the same height as me, but she's very young. She's like 32 or 35. And she got down to like 46 kilos, which is like 90 pounds. You know, my 16 years old, she weighs 108 pounds. So, you know, because she's 16. But this girl is like really skinny now. And she did it for aesthetic purpose. She wasn't necessarily, you know, got a prescription for her doctor for her cardiovascular or her sugars or whatever, her diabetes. She just does it because she wants to be very skinny. And I listened to her, like how she stopped taking it and she started to gain weight back. And I listened to all other vloggers that started to gain back as soon as they stopped. And I said, oh no, it's not going to happen to me because I'm going to stick to my healthy habits and food. Guess what? As soon as it wins out of your system, that's it. Your brain goes back to the mindset that you like your sugars, they bring you happiness. Food brings you happiness, it gives you energy. So you eat like crazy again without like exercise in any will. Я тоже думаю, можно все время по 0,25. Достаточно, чтобы не хотелось так есть. Exactly. So I'm coming to that point. When you're not taking semaglutide, либо на кето опять. Нет, я не могу кето. Изо рта воняет, когда кето. Кето – это ужасная диета, и почки могут не справляться, и там будет какой-то это я не хочу, какой-то белок в моче. Нет, это очень страшно. Кето не для меня. Значит, это надо много мяса и молочного кушать, изо рта воняет, и это все в желудке, там это все. Ну, короче, нет, кето я не люблю кето. Так что не рассказывайте мне про кето, сразу нет. So, when I went back to my sugars intake, ну, меня типа пали. Это да. I love my vegetables, I love my fruits, and you know, I love my vegetables and I love my fruits and I like my greens, so I can't eat meat only. I can't eat poultry all the time and I can't eat like milk products all the time. I hate cheese. I don't like cheese. I only put cheese, a little bit of my cheese in my salad, my Caesar salad, my Greek salad, like feta cheese. I like soft cheese. I like mozzarella, but I don't like hard cheeses that much. Like I don't like aged cheeses this much. So some people love keto and they have great results. But anyways, I talked to my doctor and he said, if it's a safe dose for you, use this dose. And even if you don't lose weight on that dose, that will help you to eat less, just to suppress your appetite. And that's the trick. Do you freaking want to pay $500 to just decrease your appetite? Is it worth it for you to pay $500 a month to decrease your appetite? Why can't you exercise your will? Why can't you freaking exercise your will and not eating carbs, not eating sugars? That's the problem. So I think I am not strong enough to keep some sort of a diet or live in the restriction. Может, через год это будет 250. Да, вот это, я на это и надеюсь. С другой стороны, on the other hand, people go eat out. And guess what? For a family of 4, you easily spend $500 on eating out. We don't eat out as much. I cook every day. We only eat like occasionally. We spend a lot of money when we eat out because we go to very fancy and expensive restaurant. For a family of 4 to go at the restaurants, even at the regular restaurant, you can easily spend $100 for a family of 4. And 4 times you go, 5 times a month people go, that's it. That's your $500. And for me, it's in reverse. I want to suppress my appetite for $500. Would I do that? With a blink of an eye. Would my husband do that? No. He doesn't like to spend $500 a month just to suppress my appetite because he's exercising his will. He's exercising. He loves to play tennis. He loves to get sweaty. He cleans the garden. He mows the lawn. And that's how he loses his water, his calories. He doesn't like sugar. He doesn't eat anything sweet. He doesn't have a sweet tooth. He has a spicy tooth. He likes his red wine. So, my husband doesn't get the concept of not having good appetite and pay $500 to reduce your appetite. He thinks that people should exercise their will, but I don't have a will. As soon as I started to gain the weight back, I said, I already spent, I don't know, $650 multiplied by 4, 2,400 and 200. I spent $3,000 to lose 20 pounds, right? And I don't want to gain this 20 pounds back and just this $3,000 to go to waste. So, я же когда семаглютид принимала, я меньше тратила на еду. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. Agrafena, thank you so much for this comment. Agrafena is writing that when she was taking semaglutide, she spends less on the food because when you have cravings, when you're hungry, when you have this food noise, you go to the store and you freaking fill up your cart. Everything the prices went up. Publix is crazy. I go to buy milk in Publix and I end up with $130 of groceries. And it's not necessarily all the, fruits, $2.99 for a pound of peaches. Excuse me, that's expensive. Like $6.99 for a pound of cherries. A pound, $450. It's expensive. So on semaglutide, you eat so much, My kids eat berries every day. My husband eats berries every day. We buy berries in Costco. We always have big boxes of berries, like strawberries. We have blackberries. We have blueberries and we have raspberries. We always have berries. Everybody eats berries with fruit, with the oatmeal in the morning. My kids eat healthy. My husband eats super healthy. It's me. I don't eat healthy. And I am willing to pay $500. So my brain tells me, no, I'm full. I'm not gonna eat sugars. I'm not gonna put this bread in my mouth, and I'm not hungry I don't have the food noise to go to grocery shopping because I'm in charge of grocery shopping in my household. I'm at Publix store 3 times a week because I cook. I know what to buy. I know what we're missing in the fridge. So I end up buying these groceries. I end up eating unhealthy, and I end up going back up and getting my weight back just because I don't have a strong will. I'm exposed to groceries. I buy because we have a family of 5 and they don't have food restrictions. So дорого обходится тоже кето, потому что ты хочешь покупать хорошее мясо и хорошую рыбу, протеин. So I decided I'm gonna spend $500 every month. So what happens? My appetite is low, but it's not as low when I started. So I think your body builds tolerance, and the doctors will say you, they don't say you because the big pharma, they want you to pay. They don't care how you feel. People who are on YouTube and they share their life experiences and they share their truth, they make other people think, what is it worth it for them? But everybody has to make their own choice. Everybody has to make their own pros and cons. And I'm only sharing my experience. And at this point, I don't suggest everybody goes on semaglutide. No, because it's expensive. It's a luxury. On the other hand, if you have bad habits, as soon as you stop taking it, you go back to your habits. There is not a magic pill. At first, I thought it was a magic shot, but not anymore. Say Gracie. Hi, Gracie. Gracie the Great. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome. Love you. Thank you for stopping by. So at first, when I started to take it, I noticed that I don't have as much cravings. Now I'm on the same dose, 0.5, when I was able to lose weight, but I don't lose as much weight as I started to lose the first week I was on this medication. Nice, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. So I do believe that your body builds a tolerance. So that's why this chart, as soon as your body does not respond to this dose, you go to this dose. As not as your body doesn't respond to this dose, you go to a higher dose. Your body builds tolerance, you metabolize this dose stop working for you and losing weight, you go to the higher dose, right? Some people, even on a higher dose, don't lose weight, so it's something else. They have to seek answers somewhere else. So at this point, I'm not as impressed with the big pharma, you know. Now I have my own doubts and reservations. Now I'm still aware of the side effects, and I'm still nervous about side effects down the road, 20 years, when I'm an old woman, something happens to me. I could say semaglutide contributed to that, you know, something happens to me like with health wise, but other factors than semaglutide could contribute to anything. My birth control pills, my low dose of hormone birth control pills also can contribute to something down the road. We would never know, because every medication has a side effect, you know. So now at first, you have this light feeling, you lose weight, you think this medication is a magic pill. At some point, you kind of like do your own research, you feel your own body, and you say, yeah, I should admit, at this point, I don't think it's a magic pill. You still have to exercise, you still have to eat healthy, you still have to have good habits of drinking a lot of fluids, a lot of good, you know, like water. This is iced tea. I bought like loose leaf tea from the Russian store with the rose petal, and I like to steep my tea. And now it's like very hot outside. We like have like, again, summer came suddenly, so I'm drinking my my iced tea, no sugars, but you know, I need something. I need like a little flavor. So those rose petals, they kind of give a little sweetness to my black tea, and that's how I get my cravings. So on semaglutide 0.5, I start the dose and nothing happens, you know. Yes, my appetite is suppressed. I don't have the food noise. I don't overload my cart with foods. I kind of pick like lighter options. I cooked fish twice a week this week. What else? I cooked my meatballs, my chicken and turkey meatballs, cotleti. My kids love that. So what else I cooked? I cooked stuffed peppers again with chicken, ground chicken, stuffed peppers. Then what else I cook? I cook salad every day. So a lot of salad with, you know, wine, vinegar, and olive oil. We eat a lot of olive oil. We go through a lot of olive oil in my household. So we have very, very healthy food, and this healthy food, it costs money. So do I save $500 for not eating out? Very much so. Do I spend it on semaglutide to eat less? Very much so. So that's the perfect balance. That's the compensation. So people have to decide for themselves. If they eat out with their family 5 times, let's say 5 times per month, and here you go, $500. If you go and eat out and you eat crappy food, this food doesn't do good for your body. Would you pay $500 not to crave this crappy food? Very much so. Very much so. So at this point, I'm not telling, like at first I was so amazed with this new medication, like all the Hollywood, all this But now I sat down and I kind of became sober. First of all, your body does build tolerance. That's why you wouldn't go higher and higher and higher dose, right? So my body built the tolerance. I don't lose as much weight. I'm still hopeful because, you know, I have to eat less, and I do eat less on this medication. So that's organically going to help your body lose weight. Are you going to lose it to the point you're going to be 90 pounds? No, of course not. Do I want to be 125 pounds? Yes, very much so. So if in the next 5 or 6 months, and I'm planning to take it. I'm planning to take it. I don't care. I might not take a Europe vacation for 3 weeks this summer, but I'm gonna spend on my medication $500. I might not take a cruise this year because, you know, when I go on a cruise, I spend at least $4,000. So I might not take an extra cruise this year, but I'm gonna spend $4,000 on medication just to suppress my appetite. Ксения Захарова, добро пожаловать. Hi, welcome. Я Катя, я говорю по-русски, но я веду свой канал на английском. Я живу в Центральной Флориде. I live in Central Florida. Ксения Захарова, her name is spelled in Russian. That's why I tell her hi and welcome in Russian. Добро пожаловать, Ксения. Спасибо, что зашли. Поэтому now there is no magic pill. Wegovy is a great medication, and I'm glad it went down in price. $650 versus $500 is still a little better. It's $150, big saving every month. So do I want to pay $500 for 4 shots? So if you think about it, 4 weeks, right? A month's supply, let's say 4 weeks. Each shot is $120. You go to a nice restaurant, how much you spend? At least $100 for 2 of you, right? With a glass of wine, with a nice salad, with a good appetizer. And you don't go to a junk food restaurant, okay? So I sacrifice my good restaurant for this shot because I eat less, my body doesn't eat extra sugars, my body doesn't have high insulin, whatever, like not insulin, but high blood sugars. I'm not gonna be diabetic. I'm reducing the risk of my cardiovascular problems. By eating less, I'm reducing my cholesterol levels. My bad cholesterol is through the roof, but a part of it is genetic, and I'm on cholesterol medication, mind you. So all in all, $120. Would you spend it on the crappy food at the restaurant, or would you spend it on this? Freaking shot? You know. So in my case, I want to spend it on my shot. You know, on my case, okay. Nobody talks about the side effects. At first, they notice that people kind of stop smoking. People don't have as many cravings. People don't have as many cravings for alcoholic drinks. And that's true. I don't have cravings. I love my champagne once in a while. I love my Brut once in a while. Like last week, we ate a lot. But you feel miserable because drinking alcohol and because you metabolize, you know, like your gut's keeping all this stuff longer and you feel full all the time. Like last weekend I suffered. I had, like that evening, I had two champagnes, like 2 glasses, because we had a wine tasting and I had to taste the champagne there. I had 1 glass of Prosecco and 1 glass of Brut, but Brut was so sour. And maybe because I started to be on the medication, everything like food didn't taste appealing to me. So I had 2 glasses of champagne. I was miserable the next day. I was tired. And the next evening on Saturday night, we went to a seated dinner. It was a charity event we raised for this organization, Quest. They have this big money raising, like fundraising event and like silent auction, and people, you know, give money to this charity. So I had another glass of champagne that night, and I ate steak and I couldn't finish my steak. I was so full, and I said, yes, this medication works. You eat way less, you don't have cravings for drinking, but even if you drink, you feel miserable because your pancreatic works differently. And it's hard to digest alcohol if you take in semaglutide. So you physically forced not to eat bad foods. Like greasy foods make you yucky, and alcohol will make you yucky. So it's good if people are drinking alcohol when they take semaglutide. It's a good side effect not to crave and not to want alcohol. Just reduce the habits. Also, I noticed nobody gonna tell you this. I'm gonna telling you the truth because I speak from my heart. So nobody tells you, but you get a little bit depressed on this medication. And what I mean by depressed, like foods give you dopamines, like foods, candy, sweets, cakes. It was a part of my dopamine, like it was a part of my happy hormones. And when you eat less of those, everything becomes bland. Life becomes somewhat gray. Like I lose colors of life. That's what I tell you. And I get depressed, with less food intake, with less sugar intake, everything becomes so even. And I'm an emotional person, I'm a very emotional person. I have to be smiling. I have to be happy. I have to be always, la 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 la. Like if I'm sad, I have to cry, sit down and cry and like sob and cry. And I'm watching a movie, I'm crying. But when I'm taking this medication, I don't get as much dopamine from my food. I have to find another way to make me happy, And I'm scrolling my favorite Lily Pulitzer. I don't even want to buy new dresses, I'm like, I sold my dresses. I made like $150 or something, and then I made another $100. Мне тоже было тоскливо без еды, особенно по выходным. Но это, мне кажется, нездоровое отношение с едой. Да, графена, никто вам не скажет. So you get depressed. The colors of life, the taste of life. I call it the taste of life because when you eat your favorite food, or even if you eat sugars, yes, I crave sugars. I crave cookies, I crave cake. I want to eat my Napoleon cake. I want to eat my fruit tart with this Bavarian cream. I want to eat my eclairs. I want to eat my puffs with the Italian cream inside. I want to eat my tiramisu, And when you stop eating it because physically they're not appealing to you. Your brain tells you you're full. You don't need to eat this extra calories. You stop eating it, and at some point, life is not fun anymore, life becomes so bland, and I sit there and I get so upset, and I'm like, yep, that's the medication. On top of what you're going through physically as a perimenopause woman, you lose your estrogen levels, you lose your whatever period, you don't have all these spikes of emotions. I think hormones, like on top of feminine hormones, and taking semaglutide, losing the dopamine from the food, makes you go like that. And something happened at school. My daughter was turning 16, and something happened at school. I can't tell you what happened at school because I'm not ready to share that. I'm still grieving about it. So something happened at school for my daughter, for my 16 years old. And I was grieving for 2 or 3 days. I was so upset. I was so upset. I didn't have energy to cry. And I think that's semaglutide because I'm always crying. I'm always going through the big range of emotion. I'm a temperamental, emotional person. I let myself out. If I want to scream, I scream. But on semaglutide, I'm so... Bleh. I do get mad, but when something happened at school and I was upset, but I was quietly upset. I just pretty much shut down. I just went into my little, how you call it, into my little shell, I'm not an introvert. I let it out. I cry, I scream, I get mad. I didn't even have energy to be mad and to cry it out. Yeah, I cried quietly. I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights, and I had this, I was very tired in the morning, and I thought I'm coming down with a cold. When I don't sleep well, I started my immune system can, and I said, no, it's not a good way to handle stress. I said, it's going to be okay. The school is almost over. It's going to be a summer. We're all going to be okay. So I just try to find new coping mechanisms, and that's why we went to the hotel last weekend and we spent such a good time together. And I went for my facial, and we went to this charity events, and I was able to see how this organization helps people with disabilities, mental disabilities, autistic adults and kids. And this organization, it even has like living community, it even has like housing for these people where they teach them to live independently in the apartments. And things we take for granted, these autistic people, they learn how to do it on their own because their parents not going to be there. And when I watch this, like charity event, and I tell myself how many things we take for granted, how spoiled we are, healthy people. Whatever happens at school as a teenager, any teenager gonna break your heart. Any teenager, the best teenager, like academically, my kids, like they have all A students, like they're on a, president's honor roll, and like the principal's honor roll. We went to award ceremony and everything. So academically and socially, they're doing so well, and they're smart, they develop. When they don't have conditions, they don't have health conditions, they don't have mental conditions, they don't have disabilities. So a lot of people going through struggles because kids are not well for very objective reasons. And here am I grieving about this incident in school. Forget it. It's not worth of my nerve. It's not worth of my energy. It's gonna be okay. The most important things, my kid understands that she got in trouble. My kid, gets a word of wisdom from us as a parents. We don't support this behavior. We explain to her that this is like very unexpected behavioral issue. But we give her a chance to reconcile, we give her a chance to make up, and we give her a chance to learn a lesson. So that's it. But I've been grieving for 2 or 3 days. I've been putting myself in the place where I took a blame. Maybe I'm a bad mother, but at the end of the day, I'm not a bad mother. Teenagers gonna break your heart. Teenagers go into sorry. So sorry. I needed to sorry about this stop. My daughter sent me a message, and she asked me something, and I needed to tell her real quick. So keep in mind that might be a side effect. That might eliminate your bad habits. Physically, you can't eat a lot, but mentally, I do believe that this medication can suppress your feelings and can give you some blues. And some people like report depression. I don't suffer from depression. I have anxieties, but I cope with it. I learned. I've been through therapy. I learned how to cope with my anxieties and stuff. And YouTube is a part of my therapy, where I can talk things out, where I can reflect and see myself speaking up and letting it out of the system. So I'm not depressed per se, but I feel blues, and this blues is not only from this medication. This blues is also because, again, the perimenopause, your hormonal changes, the life stage, your kids are growing, they don't need you as much, you're grieving about like disattaching from them, and they're disattaching from you. And of course, even the best kids can bring you grief by messing up, by like getting in trouble at school or with their friends or something, conflicts or dramas. And it's also gives you, like it also can be a part of your bad moods, And to be sincere, it's expensive. Even if we can afford it, like we can afford to pay $500 a month, it's not our last money. We don't live beyond our means. My husband is an accountant, for God's sake. He budgets, he counts every penny. And we put money for, for the retirement, and we are very frugal with our money. But $500 is not about the money. It's about helping you live a fulfilling, healthy life. Being happy with your body, being happy with your appearance is a big part of mental health. So if I can lose another maybe 5-7 pounds, I think that even if I'm doing it with medication, it will give me a boost of energy to keep that weight, to be a little more active, to exercise maybe more. And because I know that this can be a part of losing muscle, I want to go and start doing weights again, because I did it briefly for a couple of weeks, and then I said, the flap is going to be there anyways. That's a part of my skin. There is no muscle there. But you always say if you're a little bit lighter, you have more energy from eating more proteins and eating healthier and not, stuffing yourself with carbs. If you have more energy, if you sleep better, if you kind of with the good food, I believe, if you eat less and you normalize your hormone levels, with medication for the purpose of not eating bad foods or suppressing your appetite. But I'm also taking a low dose of estrogen to help me with my perimenopause symptoms. So I believe this was a part, because I was put on the medication by my OBGYN, and this was a part of me gaining a little bit of weight. Even they say you don't gain very much, you gain from some hormones, you can gain a little bit of weight, or maybe it's a part of perimenopause symptoms, who knows. But anyways, my goal is maybe not to lose all these pounds back. Maybe, I want to lose 6-7 pounds, to tell you the truth, on the medication. My goal is to lose it 6-7 pounds. But even if I'm going to pay $500, my goal is to suppress my appetite, to eat smaller portions, not having cravings for alcohol, not having cravings for sugar, and just be happy about my appearance, and be happy with the healthier foods and attitudes towards the food. Okay, thank you. What else? Okay, so enough of the serious topic. Agrafena, are you still here with me? У меня не было особо депрессии, просто пустота без еды. Да, нету красок жизни. Лена Хэппи сказала, что хочет работать в библиотеке с книгами, как ты. Хорошо, пускай ищет работу в библиотеке, всегда нужны люди. Да, я рада за нее, пусть ищет такую работу. Арес, ты опять бегаешь везде, сплетни таскаешь, как летучая обезьяна. Аграфена, да, я тут. Раз, я не понимаю, где вы живете, поделитесь, пожалуйста, если вы живете в США. У вас, наверное, у вас который час? У нас уже 8 часов и 20 минут. Спасибо, что зашли, Арес. Аграфена, знаете, Арес у нас такой тролль-провокатор, но постепенно привыкаешь к этому. И для меня, например, любой зритель, даже если он имеет какие-то отрицательные, знаете, негативные, вносит нотки в нашу беседу, для меня любой зритель на канале это как бы, не знаю, бонус. Так что я всем рада. Арес из США точно? Хорошо, спасибо, что вы мне сказали. Я не знала, откуда Арес. Вижу везде. Хорошо, ребята. Girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen. So enough of the serious topic of Wegovy. I leave it be. I leave it to you to make your own research, to have your own wisdom, to have your own experience. I'm not gonna push and support Big Pharma, because at the end of the day they don't pay me. If they give it to me for free and I sincerely report all what I feel, maybe it's gonna be good for their research, but they don't pay me, so I'm paying out of pocket, and I can be truthful talking about goods and bads about this medication. So I'm not encouraging anybody to start the medication, but I'm just sharing my experience. And even my conservative doctor, he said it's okay for me to take it, and he prescribed me. I'm getting my prescription for it. I'm doing it like under support and supervision of my doctor. So that's the most important part. If you want to take your medication, please make sure you're under supervision of the medical professional. Тоже, может, начну скоро. Аграфена. Удачи вам, не сдавайтесь, всегда находите какой-то баланс. Okay, so before I leave, 1 hour 9 minutes, we've been on a live stream, enough of serious topic, enough of depression. I wrote down few stories I wanted to share with you, and of course it's going to be about food, and because we're trying to eat healthy, because, you know, we learn a lot these days, there is a lot of knowledge about diets, about what we should eat, what's good for us or not. I have 2 funny stories about sushi, and I have another story about oysters. So sushi and oysters. If you're a seafood lover just like me, maybe this stories you can relate to. But how did I get introduced to sushi? It's a funny story because the person who told me about sushi for the first time was my husband. But back in the day, I was 25 years old. I think I just graduated from college back in the Republic of Moldova. I was 25. And I met my husband through my sister, because my sister used to work in the same place my husband used to work. But back in the day, he was married, he had a family, and we just had the same people we interacted with, because sometimes I would come to my sister's house and they have a little party, and she has a little party. She's older than me. My sister is 7 years older than me. So she would have people around, and I met Alex there, and he was telling about sushi. And back in the day, we lived in Moldova. We ate seletka, we ate herring, we ate like salty fish, herring, we ate smoked fish, we ate like fresh fish, like from fresh waters, because we don't live necessarily on the seaside, so people would buy fresh fish from lakes and from rivers in Moldova. So we were exposed to fish, and not many people liked fish as much. Most people loved meat back in the day. As kids, we loved meats more than we liked fish, but when we got older, we liked fish. But what we ate, mostly our fish was cooked or smoked or salty. So here comes that guy. А ты как хорошо английский выучила? Ну, я ходила на курсы в Молдове, я училась в английской школе, и потом я ходила на курсы английского языка, когда уже в университете, и потом уже я приехала сюда, я работала в ирландской семье в Молдавии, в ирландской семье я научилась говорить свободно, и потом я работала в американском посольстве, а потом я уже приехала сюда и поступила в колледж, это все как бы накладывалось, и потом я была няней в США, я жила в Канзас-Сити в одной американской семье, они тоже по-русски не говорили, они были американцы настоящие, и у них я уже свой американский английский, потому что они мне говорили, что я ирландский акцент у меня был раньше, а сейчас американский. Вот. So, who introduced me to sushi? Interesting fact about my life. So, sushi. We live in Moldova, like 1990, the year 1991. So, it's like early 90s. Who knows about sushi in Moldova? Nobody knows about sushi. So, we go to this sea town, Odessa. You know, it's in Ukraine. It's the Black Sea, and it's a big port of Odessa. And there were people from Moldova. It's about 4 hours to drive to Odessa by car. So most people go to Odessa in summer for seaside, for beach experience, you know. So we're staying in this sanatorium. We're staying in this, I don't know, it wasn't even a nice hotel, but some sort of the hotel. So we stay in a couple of families. I go with my sister and her son, and a couple of other families from my sister's work. From my sister's office, they join. And we sit in some sort of restaurant in Odessa. And of course, in Odessa, you eat some local fish from the sea. And we ordered some fried fish. And I'm like, oh, this fish kind of smells weird. I'm young. I'm 20. In 91, I was probably 24. No, hold on. I wasn't even 24. Hold on, people. I'm getting lost in translation there. It wasn't 91. It was probably 2001. Yeah, it was 20 years ago. Yeah, it was probably hold on. 95, 96, 99. It was probably 2000. It was 2001. Yeah, sorry about that. It was 2001. 2001. So I'm like 25. в молодом возрасте есть же хорошо устраиваться. Yeah. Да, вы правы. Я работала нянечкой в ирландской семье, and I picked it up. But I started in the school with the profound studies of English. Английская школа, с первого класса у нас был английский язык. С первого класса нас дрючили английский язык. Это была там одна из 2 школ в Молдове, в Кишиневе, именно в столице, которые с первого класса английский преподавали. So, and we sit down, I remember that day, 2001. My nephew was about 7 or 8 years old back in the day, but interesting, 2001. And here this guy who went to the United States for the studies, and he came back and he said, I remember I tried sushi for the first time in 2004. Yes, exactly when I tried it, 2004. Grafena, you got me. So in 2001, this guy came from the States and he explains to us there are Japanese type of restaurants and people eat raw fish. And I'm like, no way, and I remember my I couldn't understand how people eat raw fish. So my husband, back in the day, he was just a friend of my sister. I didn't like him. He used to wear mustache and it was so awful. He looked so ugly. I never liked him. I thought he was ugly and I thought he was 5 years older than me. And I looked at him, I was young and I was like, I don't like that guy. But anyways, here he goes because he went to studies. He goes to college here. He came back to Moldova and he tells us he really liked that food, sushi, and he explains those rolls like rice and seaweed and different type of sauce and raw fish. You can eat it with the raw fish or deep fried crab or fish. And we're sitting there some people know sushi, maybe some other people traveled other countries, but I didn't travel a lot. I only been to Ireland and I only been to Eastern Europe. Замороженную рыбу ела, расколотка, ой, вкусно. А у нас была еще какая-то засоленная рыба, белая, ее привозили откуда-то с севера в таких банках. Как же она называлась, напомните? Белая рыба, маринованная такими кусками. Боже, какая она была вкусная. Как севиче, только большие куски. Да, я тоже помню, в детстве ела, но я боялась, потому что когда мне говорили, что это соленая рыба, сырая, я боялась от нее отравиться. So he's telling me about that sushi in 2001. So when I go to the United States to be a nanny in Kansas City, it was so boring. I had a friend, she was German, so we would go out every weekend, but we never go to a fancy restaurant. Селедка. Нет, как же есть такое название, я вспомню, вам скажу. Не селедка, она была именно такая белая. Ой, как же она называлась, не помню. Наверное, люди, которые живут на Дальнем Востоке, они знают, о чем я говорю. Там лук был такой. У нас еще печень сырую едят. О, no, нас не едят. So he tells me about the sushi, and when I went to the States, I asked my friend, and she's from Germany, she said, there is no good sushi restaurant in Kansas City, so we didn't have a chance. We went to a nice steakhouse, and we went to Applebee's, and we were not having a lot of money to spend there, because we were au pairs, the nannies. We only got $130 a week. So we go on the weekend because she drives a car, I couldn't drive back then. So my friend Barbara from Germany, she takes me out and we go places together, but we never ate sushi. We didn't have a chance to eat sushi. And I keep remembering the guy from Moldova, my sister's friend, he used to tell me about the sushi. And he, my Alex, he was my sister's friend back then. If somebody back then told me he's gonna be my future husband, I'm gonna have 2 daughters with him, I would flip. I would just, because I sincerely didn't like him. I didn't like him for some reason. So, and when I came to the United States, my family I live in, they never order sushi. They never, I didn't see them. She was Iranian, Iranian origin, and the host family I live in, she was Iranian, the girl, the lady. She was a doctor, and her husband, real redneck American from Iowa. He was a motorcyclist, he loved to, he was a Harley Davidson person. He liked his bike, and he was working in the insurance company. And they ate very basic American food. She never cooked because she had kids and she didn't want to cook. Her mom would come to cook Iranian dishes and rice for us, but she never cooked. And when they ordered, they go to Applebee's or they go steakhouse and they eat American food. They never ordered sushi. So I haven't tried sushi living in the American family. But I met a guy. Like it was a long story. It's another story. It's just a sushi story. So me and Barbara, we went to Chicago and I met that guy, and he was like, for the brief time, he was my boyfriend, and we had a long distance relationship. So I would come to visit him in Chicago, and he told me about a nice place to go eat sushi. And he was the one, my Chicago boyfriend, he was the one to introduce me to sushi. And I went on that like weekend trip from Kansas City to visit that guy, and he said, I'll take you. And he had another visitor, like his cousin's sister or somebody, his cousin or somebody else. So he said, girls, I'll treat you sushi. And we're like, yeah. And that girl, she's been living in America for a long time, and I'm just, I'm just there for a year, so I've never tried sushi. And when we go, she said, I can't believe you're like 27 and you haven't tried sushi. I say, yeah, you've been living in the States for how long, and you grew up here, so I just came here to be a nanny for a year. I haven't tried. So they made fun of me. They're like, oh, that's going to be a really interesting experience for you to eat sushi. So they bring me to a nice Japanese like restaurant and everything, and I eat the sushi, and the next day I have to travel back home on the airplane. So you should see me, every little inch of fish I try, I'm like, is it fresh? Does it smell good? Like, I'm sitting there like paranoid because it's my first time eating raw fish, raw salmon, raw tuna. And he ordered like raw because he said you should eat, like, try it like real raw. And he explains to me what is sashimi, what is sushi, how they made. Some of them are rolls, some of them are like big pieces, some of them come without rice, like sashimi pieces and stuff like that. And I'm like blown away. And this girl, she's like eating a lot, and I'm like eating a little bit, like delicately trying, like savoring every piece, like trying to get a real, taste out of it. And I liked it, but I was so cautious because next morning I had to travel back to Kansas City going on the airplane, and I was paranoid I'm gonna get sushi poison, because I told him, hey, in the morning I have to travel. I'm gonna be okay from eating this raw fish? And he said, no, this is like very good restaurant, don't worry about it, it's very reputable, nice restaurant. He spent a lot of money that night, and I didn't even realize back then that sushi is expensive because I never went. So this girl is eating like crazy, and she's like, come on, while you like, like I was examining every piece, she like eating, and she said, you're gonna love it. She said, I can tell, like, because you're like so cautious, but at some point you're gonna get a grip on it. And she was right. Since then, I was very cautious just because I had to travel. The next time I came to visit the guy, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And he said, let's not go to the restaurant. Let's just go take out. So we eat sushi anywhere. In the park, we having a picnic, we take sushi out and we eat with him in the park. And I'm like not afraid anymore. I'm like, yeah, now finally I got introduced to sushi. When I come back to Kansas City and I tell them about my sushi experience, they say, Kate, you have really expensive taste. We're going to not feed you sushi because we don't like sushi in our family. And I'm like, okay. So my Iranian host mom, the lady I babysit her kids, she wasn't into sushi. She was Iranian. She preferred like chicken and rice, like more like, regular meats, but she wasn't into fish that much. So they didn't like fish. And she said, no, Kate, you have expensive taste. We're not going to feed you sushi. But I remember how she was laughing. She said, no, we're not going to take you to sushi place. We're going to take you to Applebee's. And now since and then we have a story, like a funny story about the sushi. That's how I got introduced to sushi. And I really like sushi, and I really like fresh fish, and I'm not afraid of it. And I didn't know I was pregnant. And like pregnant people are not supposed to eat sushi because it has like something, mercury or something, or it can be contaminated. And like for the pregnant people, it's not recommended to eat raw fish, like in general. But I didn't know I was pregnant. Like, for some reason I miscalculated. So for some reason something miscalculated. I wanted the baby so badly, and we were trying for the baby, but what happened to the best of us? Something I wrote down in my notebook. So I didn't know I was pregnant, like very first weeks of pregnancy. And we had a nice like movie in date. My husband brought like this, like he ordered like this big tray of sushi with something like different sushis, and I had a little bit of that plum wine. I used to like sweet wines. I used to like Moscato. I used to like this crazy like sugary wines. Not anymore, not anymore. Brut, you know. But back in the day, so we had this like date night. I had no clue I was pregnant. I had no clue I was like, I didn't have any symptoms. It wasn't any. So I ate the sushi and it was such a good date night. And 2 weeks later, I discovered I was pregnant. And I was already like, I don't know, when I finally realized I was pregnant, I was probably like 5 or 6 weeks or whatever when the test showed up. And I keep beating myself and I go to the doctor and I tell the doctor, do you know, doctor, am I going to be okay? Is my baby going to be okay? Because I ate sushi. And I said, don't go nuts. Like, you don't eat sushi every day. Don't eat like pounds and pounds of raw fish to get this bacteria. If you were not sick, if you didn't get food poisoned, and if you only ate it once, and like I was probably like just got pregnant or something, it's not going to affect fetus, it's not going to affect baby. If you didn't get food poisoning, the mercury levels were not big enough to affect the baby. Maybe if you would eat it every day or something, if you get food poison and stuff. So she said, from now on, you can like not eat sushi. So the whole pregnancy, I was dreaming that as soon as I get my baby, I get the I tell my husband, my dream was to have a Bloody Mary because I didn't drink. Like I had a glass of wine occasionally. During my pregnancy, I was very healthy and I was allowed, my doctor was allowing me to have wine once in a while, like white wine or red wine. A glass of wine wouldn't hurt the baby. I admit I had wine during the pregnancy very, very rarely. And I did have coffee here and there because I worked in the coffee shops and I was tired sometimes. But the sushi, I was very good about not eating raw fish. I didn't even eat silotka. I didn't even eat my herring. I craved herring and sushi so much that I told my husband, the first time we're going to celebrate and go out with the baby, we go to a sushi restaurant because I really craved sushi and I really craved Bloody Mary. I really wanted my vodka drink. I love vodka. I love my Bloody Mary. So after we got the baby, I don't remember... it wasn't like after you have a baby, you think, oh yeah, you're gonna go celebrate, but you don't want to go anywhere because you're like, oh my gosh, you know. So like having the first baby, it's a whole different world. You're like stuck in the house, you like barely can open your eyes in the morning, like you're such a mess, you don't know what's going on, you know. So I'm like, sushi? No, I don't want to go anywhere. So first month we didn't go anywhere, but like at some point we went for a nice sushi treat. That's what I craved after the pregnancy. I said first, like, so that's my sushi story. And another fun story, we almost come into 1 hour 30 minutes, and you know, like again, I've been not feeling. So now talking to you, you know, my emotions and my mood, my attitude, I'm coming out of. So this is the tool to get myself out of the blues. So I like talking to my viewers. I like to be on YouTube. I like being on my live stream talking about the topics I had in mind for you. So another story about oysters. And I know a lot of people will say, you oysters, seafood. But guess what? I have fun oyster story. So again, my husband, we already been dating with my husband. I came here to visit in 2000, I don't remember, 5, yeah. Before I came here to college, I came to visit. And my husband told me there are a couple of interesting places we don't have in Moldova, the foods you haven't tried in Moldova. We're gonna go to eat oysters. And I'm like, like those, like I've read about them, the oysters, ustрицы, like those shells with the like, you know, a live creature inside. It's like eating oysters, or what they eat in France. I like those улитки, как они называются? Like what they eat in France in those escargot. Oh my gosh, I love escargot. But anyways, so and I'm like, I'm not sure. Are you sure we should eat them? Blah blah blah. He said, yeah, it's a delicious food. It's like fancy seafood. So he takes me, and it was 2005. So he takes me on a date to the oyster restaurant. And this lady comes, and you know, she knows like whoever eats oysters, they know how they like it. And I'm paranoid. I say, I'm not gonna eat them fresh out of the freezer because they're live. You know, you open them, they're live. They're supposed to be eaten raw. And I'm freaking out. In 2005, I never eat them raw. Like for how many years I never eat them raw? I just started to eat them raw 5 years ago because my friend, you know. So my husband couldn't convince me. He said, it's okay, as long as you're comfortable, we're gonna get them lightly steamed. So you don't, I I tried Rockefeller and I didn't feel anything because they put cheese and it's like whatever is there, it didn't make sense to eat it. So we asked to have our oysters a little bit steamed, like take the coldness off. So they don't necessarily cook them. They just put them in the hot water just to get the chill off. And it means they're not going to be warm. They're not going to be hot. They're going to be like just warm, but they're still going to be like they're not going to be cooked. So they're going to be still very delicate. So they bring those oysters, and for 10 or maybe 12 years in a row, I eat them lightly like I eat them like like steamed. I eat them warm. I still like them. I use my horseradish, I use my hot sauce, I use a lot of vinegar, or whatever they give, like the lemon, or some places they give a little vinegar sauce or something, you know, like, or white wine. They even serve you with the white wine or champagne, like you can have sushis with different topping and stuff like that. No, not sushi, sorry, oysters. So I love oysters. I love oysters. So I have a fun story. I eat oysters for that long time. And in 2012, before my second child was born, I read an article and it says when you eat oysters, it's a better chance, you know, to get more zinc in your system. And oysters is aphrodisiac, and it helps you have like more passion, and it helps people to conceive. For some reason, like when a woman, like it helps fertility for the woman. Some ingredients in the oysters. And I'm like, and telling my husband, now we need to eat a lot of oysters. And I'm reading that article and I find support everywhere that it boosts people's fertility and it's like aphrodisiac. So we have oyster dates. And since then, we still have oyster dates once in a while, even we don't need to have kids anymore. But we always remember that we did it like every 2 weeks, around like of every 3 weeks when I have ovulation or something. I'm telling my husband that should work, and it worked. We had a baby, like I got pregnant within like 3 months when we tried for the second baby. It was so fun that we still tell people that we like our oyster dates, but I still ate them steamed. So one time my friend invites me to this fancy restaurant. My friend, she's a dentist. She's like well off and I love her. She's my classmate. I know her from like so many times ago, and we got back connected. She moved away right after high school, but she's my best friend, and our kids are best friend now. But anyways, she invites me to this fancy restaurant in like 5-star hotel, Ritz-Carlton. She said, you should try oysters here. And I'm like, okay. And she orders this huge tray for the whole table. It's like a couple of us there, and she says, those oysters are from Canada and you should eat them raw. She said, no, I'm not paying like that much money in that fancy restaurant for you to eat them steamed. It's absolutely killing the taste of real oysters getting them steamed or cooked. She said, no, on my buck, you're gonna eat them raw. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how I'm gonna eat them raw? But they bring those oysters and they are from, I don't remember the place, but they're from Canada, and they're from, if you say the names in Canada, I'll probably remember. Yes, that's the name, but I always try to remember. But after we ate oysters in Alaska, the ones that are farmed in Alaska's water, I think those are the best, even better than Canadian ones. So, you know, I grew the taste to the oysters in 2017 probably. So it took me 12 years to start eating oysters raw, you know. And if you haven't tried oysters, you know, and if you're afraid of seafood, just go and try it. Lillian said hi. Thank you for saying hi. Нас еще печень сырую едят. Ну, короче говоря, my friend said no. And when they bring this Canadian oysters, and I'm like, okay, and I'm putting the same ingredients. I put a little bit of the, you know, whatever they serve it, lemon and a little bit horseradish. And I'm eating Canadian raw oyster. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, all these years I ate it wrong. Because you can taste the most delicate food. Like, I don't know, maybe not many people like seafood. Maybe people are not that adventurous. Or maybe, you know, they just afraid of food poisoning, or maybe their stomachs cannot handle this type of food. And I understand that everybody is different. I'm not forcing you. But this became one of my favorite foods. And if you want to invite me for a date, it's going to be an oyster date, you know. Like most of the times I will pick sushi, oyster day to Greek restaurant, Mediterranean restaurant. But my friend says, see, you don't eat oysters cooked, you eat oysters raw. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Those Canadian, because the ones we got locally, they're mostly from Louisiana. They're from the Gulf. They're different types. Some of them are like salty. Some of them have a little more texture. But those from Canada, the colder water it is, the better oyster quality it is. Those from Canada, it's like eating a piece of butter. You don't even need to chew them. And they have such a delicate taste. I can't explain it. They're not salty. They're not too salty. They're not too sweet. There's something in between. But you know, you eat them to savor. You don't eat those foods to get full. You just eat them to savor. And if you drink like the cold brewed and oysters, and those oysters have a little bit of lemon on them or a little bit of like horseradish or whatever, it just gives me such a good taste and combination that it makes me like go like, wow, like it's not a bread and butter, you know, like people, when we were kids, we put bread and butter, we were hungry, we stuff ourselves up and we go and we be happy. If we want something sweet, we put bread, butter and jam, or we wanted something, we put bread, butter and sugar. And that's how we ate when we kids. But when we adults, сырым морем пахнут, да. И когда ты кушаешь, when you eat raw oyster from the right place, it's just so delicate, you don't even need to chew it. It goes to your taste buds, it goes to your mouth, and all this combination, and this little, you know, like this little glass of like little wine, and you just slurp it, you just like, oh my gosh, it makes me want to eat oysters. So we love oysters, and since then my husband said, I told you, but you wouldn't trust me, and you trusted your friend. I said, because my friend is my friend, I trusted my friend, and she forced me to eat raw. So then I forced to eat my other friend, like my American friend. I forced her to eat, and she almost spitted it, she was so mad at me. She said, Kate, you made me try raw oysters, never again. I almost threw up at the restaurant. I felt so bad, and she spit it, she spit it. She didn't want to eat it, and I make fun of her. I took a little video and I said, you spit out my 350 oyster, and it was funny. We're just like joking, of course, but people, I can understand people don't like it, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's okay. I'm still gonna love like if somebody doesn't like oysters, it's better because I'm not gonna share with you, I'm gonna just eat my dozen or half a dozen or whatever. So when we went to Alaska, there was one port, I don't remember, Ketchikan or somewhere, like it's a very not interesting place to stop. It's nothing there. So there were like few excursions and people went to see, I don't know, wildlife, or they were taken on a boat. We were taken on a boat to the oyster farm. I bought this excursion and it wasn't the most expensive one and it was less people, but it was the most pleasant excursion ever. They take you to the oyster farm and they tell you how they grow this tiny little oysters from this little, they buy them in Hawaii and they ship them to Alaska to this pure ecologically clean waters, and they grow them and they open them, they take them out of the sea and they open them in front of you and they serve you those, and I've never eaten anything more delicious than those. And from Alaskan water, when they open them, they're huge because they what they do, they hold them in the water, they take them out every few days, they wash them, they put them back, they wash them, they put them back, they wash the freaking shells, they make sure the shells are clean so nothing gets inside of them, nothing get their color. So when they open those oysters in Alaska, they're huge like that. I have a video, I have shorts somewhere. If you go back like 2 years ago on my birthday trip to Alaska, you see the oyster farm and you see me filming those huge oysters. They look like literally they look like cream color. They don't look gray inside. I'm telling you, they look like a piece of butter, almost like they're not yellowish, but they're like the color of them like between pink and white, between orange and like white. But they're so fresh, they're big, delicious, and because they're farmed, but they are farmed in the very nice ecological place where the waters are the cleanest. And because the water is coldest, they grow, they grow longer, but they grow more dense inside. They're dense, but they are full of protein, and they're like, oh, they're so delicious. And from this farm in Alaska, they ship them. But, you know, to get them shipped in the ice cooler and stuff like that, it's probably you pay at least $39 per dozen or something. So they sell them, but they're not cheap. If you want to ship from Alaska to Florida, you probably pay $39.99 per dozen. I looked it up on the website, but it was like a remote island. They take you, you can only get there by boat. They take you in the boat, they show them, you know, they showed, we were laughing because we saw a big yacht and we thought that some kind of like some Russian oligarch, he came from another part of Kamchatka and he's hiding there in Alaska in his yacht, you know, like oligarch. We were joking, but it was the best trip ever in Alaska to try oysters. And that's my story about oysters. So now I know we have some Russian people. They opened 2 nice restaurants here in Orlando area, and they are a couple, and their son works there with them. So this one restaurant became so popular, so they opened another one. So we have 2. На Аляске они дороже, что 100 лет не ела. Да, надо есть. Нужно есть из Канады, либо с Аляски, либо оттуда, то есть ниже Вирджинии уже не надо их есть. Чем севернее они, тем они вкуснее. Ну и во Франции надо попробовать. Во Франции я не была и никогда не пробовала, но во Франции, говорят, очень вкусные устрицы. Так что во Франции попробуем, когда будем. In France, we should try them when we go to Europe. So, what I want to tell you, the Canada ones, the ones that up north, like I dig them. The one from Gulf, they're okay too, but if you try the one from up north, you never go back to the, yeah, you're still gonna eat the Gulf ones, and like from Louisiana and from like that side of Atlantic Ocean, from Virginia, from like Virginia River or something, you're still gonna eat them. But my favorite ones are Alaskan one. So that trip from Alaska, we're gonna remember, we're gonna savor, and we always talk about that trip. Me and my husband, he said he really liked that excursion to the oysters farm. It was very unique. Not many people want to go to see oysters farm, you know, but I think it's very unique excursion. It makes me very happy because it's something that delicatessen, как в детстве мы говорили, in my childhood in Russian we said деликатесы. Что за деликатесы такие? Мы даже не могли подумать, что мы когда-то сможем кушать такие деликатесы. Я в Испании ела в Андалусии, но там шелст толще, какие-то другие устрицы. Да, там по-другому, там вода теплее в Андалусии, там теплая очень вода, и они по-другому формируются. Там была целая наука, как они... Это очень интересно. И как бы если люди любят, то они любят. А есть такие, которые вообще не могут даже, не говорят, как можно это кушать, но нам друг друга не понять, потому что you have taste buds, and everybody's taste buds, they're different. And people, like, I was afraid to eat sushi first time, but then I really eat them. My father doesn't eat raw fish except herring, but when we bring sushi, he's afraid to eat sushi. And my husband's parents, when they were visiting, they wouldn't touch sushi. Like a lot of older people from back where we from, Eastern Europe, they don't eat raw fish. So that's my story. So what I wanted to tell you about this Russian couple, they opened 2 restaurants, and it's called Wine for Oysters. And they deliver oysters from all over different places. And when you go there, you can choose, like we choose 2 of this area, 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this. So usually we get 12 from different places and we can try them. And they have wine, and you pair different wines with oysters, and it's like a restaurant with a limited menu, but it became so popular they opened one not far from us, and then they opened another one more close to Orlando, like fancy area, and they are doing really good. Their business is doing really good. I think they even can cater the parties, you know, like you can invite people for the catering event. That's probably gonna expensive to have oysters at your party, but you know, I'm very happy for these people. It's very good business, and the restaurant is very small but very cozy, you know, очень маленький такой, but people who know and who like this type of food, because they have octopus, they cook octopus there, they cook like мидии тоже они готовят, and they cook like what else, what other seafood, they have those, ну, такие вот белые, такие круглые, как они называются? I forgot the name of the white seafood, also from shellfish. And some people мне говорили, что они могут непроизвольно шевелиться. Не, вроде бы не шевелились, я не хочу, чтобы они шевелились. So this is pure protein. This is very healthy for you. Even if like from the unclear waters it could be poison with mercury. I don't know. They say fish can have mercury in it. That's why it could, you know, poison you. But you don't eat it as much to get poisoned. So your body's still gonna absorb and metabolize any small, you know, like bad poisons or whatever. Mercury. You don't want mercury in your system, but they have more good nutrients for you, like pure protein, if you think. Еще пол меняет, пока лежат на блюде. Но я им переодела, страх, вкусно слишком. That's too funny you say that. Agrafena says that they changed they could change their gender. The little oysters can change their gender while you're eating them there because they're still alive. Oh my gosh, that's funny. So that's the stories for today. I've been with you for 144. I think my mood has improved, and I think I'll come up on the live stream some other time within this long weekend because I wanted to take you to a very interesting place. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go and do live stream in a very special place. I was attracted to go to that place, and this would be a good weekend to finally go. So thank you so much, my viewers, for being with me. Thank you for writing your kind comments and sharing your experiences. Thank you for listening for my stories. Ksenia Zakharova, Gracie the Great, Brett Davis, Agrafena, RS. Thank you so much, my dear viewers. I love you all. I wish you a great weekend. Thank you, Lexi. Whoever stopped by, thank you, Leland. You are wonderful viewers. I love sharing my life and, you know, spirit with you. I love to share my soul and heart, pour my heart on my live streams. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for cheering me up and supporting me and my channel. I love you all. Till I see you again. Bye-bye, Kate B. Thank you. Love you all. Bye. Have a good night.